Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm here with Dan Kennedy, a local musician and writer and founder of 54 AM Records. So tell us how you got started in the music business.
My freshman year of college, I was bored. Everybody was out partying. I'm more of a reader, more of a stay-in kind of hermit, and I had a friend that taught me how to play guitar. I was 19. I started a lot later than most people do, and I had always been scribbling poetry, even when I was back in middle school. You know, roses are red, violets are blue, to the cute girl sitting next to me. So pairing writing and music was really simple for me, really easy, came really naturally. So I started writing songs about a year after I got my guitar, and it's been a uphill climb from then.
How would you describe your music to someone who's never heard it before?
It's varied a lot over the years. When I started out, it was pretty quiet and introspective, but I did a really folky record a couple years ago, but the last two have been really punk rock, really loud. I'm screaming a lot. In the live shows, I like to play the loud songs. I like to play the songs where I emote as strongly as possible. So I guess really loud folk punk.
Who would you say is your inspiration?
Well, there's inspirations all over the place. With music, I grew up listening to Neil Young a lot, punk rock in my teenage years, and then a little later, you know, Nirvana and Bright Eyes, Elliott Smith, kind of all the really important songwriters. Leonard Cohen has been a huge influence over the last couple of years, and Townes Van Zandt. With writing, I started off, when I first really got into reading, I was reading really heavy books. I was reading Russian novelists, Dostoevsky and Franz Kafka, and I still do, and I still love them. So those were probably my biggest influences writing. But inspiration's everywhere. I go to coffee shops and I go get breakfast, and the waitress inspires me, and you know, people walking down the street inspire me. So the inspiration's everywhere, but if you're looking for influences more, I guess those are.
Why did you start your own record label?
It was 2006, and I was having a conversation with a friend about playing shows together and building a really strong music community with the people we had been playing with. I was hosting a weekly songwriter night, this cafe that no longer exists, and we were building a really good community. A lot of people were coming out all the time, and we were talking about how we should make a compilation record with all these people. And then that kind of snowballed into we should start a record label and put out CDs for these people. And so we were talking about it, and he stopped me. His name is Alan Sawinski, and he said, well, let's do it. Like, let's not talk about it. Let's do it. So we sat down, we both put aside some money, and we bought up the couple things that we needed and talked to the people, and they were all really excited. And we just kind of ran with it and learned as we went.
What advice would you give to a younger person who wanted to be a musician or writer?
Just dive into it. Don't think about it too much. Don't make a 5-year plan. Don't think about how you're going to get signed to a major record deal or how you're going to get your book published. Just worry about that after you have the book written. Worry about the record after you have the record written and maybe recorded. Just go at your own pace and just dive into it.
So tell us about your new book, Smile, Lines, and Pain.
This past summer I spent in Germany living with this wonderful woman. And spending that time over there, disconnected, living in a country whose language I didn't speak. I don't speak any German. I spent 3.5 months there. Instead of discovering things through Germany, I kind of turned inward and ended up writing this story. And it's a novel. It's not autobiographical, but conceptually it's about the violence and the loneliness of love. But it's about a man who's spending the summer in Germany, and he meets this woman, falls in love, and he needs to deal with the fact that in love, when you love someone so intensely, they kind of own you, and they kind of control you. And it's his struggle, Patrick's struggle, and his reflecting on it.
All right, so tell us about your album, The 10 Plagues.
I wrote most of those songs this summer in Germany and recorded them with 2 musicians that I met in Germany. We only had 5 practices, and we had 2 hours to record 10 songs, and we played 1 show together. And it was the most fun I've ever had playing music. They were jazz-trained metalheads. So they were tremendous musicians, absolutely tremendous musicians, and they loved playing as hard and as loud as possible. So I'm really proud of the record. You can actually download it for free at kennedydan.com. And, or you can donate, but if for anybody who buys a copy, I hand typed out lyrics. There's like a little story about recording the record. You get a free button, all sorts of little goodies. I sell my books there too. And it's a wonderful place, and so that's another option. But I mail them out to people. I'll drop them off at your house. I'll bring them to your work. I don't really care. As long as you live in the general area, I'll just drop them off.
If I lived in New Zealand, is that a no?
That's a no. I could mail them though. There's this thing called the Postal Service. I know.
Man.
It's kind of antiquated.
It's like Old Owl City, kind of, except worse.
Buy a book,